All right, everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at Shira David Baruch Hashem. Beautiful, beautiful day. We wish a mazel tov to David Rich. Has a bris for his wonderful grandson today, so he's not with us, but we wish him a hearty mazel tov. Oh, Baruch Hashem, he should he should be able to, Mitzvah Hashem, be at that his grandson's chasna, dancing, gesund and health and well. Okay, we're learning Likutey Halachos, and we are in Hilchos Birchas HaPeiros. We're learning the laws of the Brachas of fruits. All right, very important halachos. We're learning about the different ideas of which fruit you make the bracha on first. When you have multiple fruits, and then if you have one of the Zion Haminim from Eretz Yisrael, so of course that always takes precedence. Okay, now we're going to learn. Now we're in Halacha Gimel and Beis today. Now here we go, Beis. We're going to learn now about an Ish Chassid, okay? What does that mean? The Gemara says, "Hai man devoi lemheve chasida lekayem milei kol." Okay, if someone wants the brachas, if someone wants to become a chassid, the Gemara says, if you want to be a chassid, make sure you know your brachas. Make sure you know your brachas. Isn't that nice? The Gemara said that's a Gemara. It's a Gemara in Baba Kama. The Gemara said on page 30a. If you want to be a chassid, know your brachas. Okay, beautiful. Ki al yedei habracha ma'ala es hanefesh, because like we're learning through brachas, you are always raising up souls. You're raising up souls. You're raising up many times your own soul. Because when you're making the bracha, eating whatever you're eating, that could be a lost part of your soul, that now you are making the bracha, elevating it, then that you can retrieve that part of your soul. So it's always an elevation of souls, could be your own soul. Very interesting. But then we said, even if you're eating something that you don't need a tikkun for your own soul, right? Everything is great, but when you elevate a soul, a nefesh, so that nefesh will come and give you an extra fortification, and it'll be better for you. It'll be better for everybody. It's okay. V'nimshach chesed, and then that's chesed bechinas goimel nafshay ish chesed, right? Nimsa shayedei habrachas hu chesed. Through brachas, a person can be chesed, because again, there is a nefesh in the thing. Whatever you're about to eat, there's a nefesh in there. You make the bracha, you elevate that thing. By doing that, you rectify that soul. By rectifying that soul, you're doing a chesed by rectifying the soul. Right? Like we learned the idea in burying the nefashos. You say the bracha burying the nefashos, rabbis v'chesroinan. Right? What are the souls? Hashem makes many nefashos, a lot of souls. And they're lacking something. They're lacking the tikkun. When you make the bracha, you make the tikkun for the nefesh, you elevate the soul, and that's the whole point. So then, when you do that, you're doing a chesed, so you're called a chesed, same word, okay? And then it goes on to say, if you want to be a chesed in Pirkei Avos, he says like this: the Hainu ki ika habrachas heim bechinas aviru Eretz Yisrael v'ayedei zen is galin ha'avos bechinas v'zacharti es brisi Yaakov ad v'horetz eskar. That's an interesting thing. Yes, you ever make that connection? It mentions all the avos and says v'horetz eskar. What does the oretz have anything to do with the avos? The whole schus of Eretz Yisrael came because of the avos. It's amazing, right? Okay, and then we said every time we learned yesterday, every time you make a bracha, so what you're doing is you're actually connecting into the Ma'aseh Bereshis, Koyach Masav Higid Liyamai, right? We learned that, right? The idea, why did the Torah start off with the idea of Bereshis, Bar Elikim, as the Shemaim Be'azar? Why did Hashem do that? So Rashi said, because to show you that Hashem is the one that created the world, it's His world. He can control the world any way He chooses to control the world. He can give whatever lands He wants to whomever He wants to give it to. He gave Eretz Yisrael to the Zion Amim, to the nations, but he took it away from them. He gave it to us. It's our land now, right? And we said every time you make a bracha, wherever you are, your words that you're using to say the bracha, those words are connecting you back to the Esther Mamores of creation, and you're reiterating what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did, because you're saying the bracha, Elokeinu melech ha'olam, right? You're making it a bracha. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam. You are the king of the world. You are the creator of the world, Hashem. So then you're redoing that, Okay, we got that, we understand that? So then, and then we said every time a person does that, he's using his words in a special way to utter the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created everything. So then he's purifying his words, right? The same way in Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael always purified because it's Tamid Eini Hashem Elokecha Ba. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always looking at Eretz Yisrael and taking his spirus in what we're doing. Because of that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu it's always pure. So therefore, when we say a bracha wherever we are, we connect to that, so we also have that purity. Okay? All right. Now, v'zeh she'amru le mile de nezikin. Then it goes on to say that if you want to be a chassid, you have to make sure you don't make any damages. Any nezikin, right? No damages. Kikol dine nezikin heim siluk hehezek mechaverei levli lahazik es chaverei. All the din and the zikim are to prevent you from causing damages to your friend, right? If a person made a damage, you pay for it, right? You damage someone's property, so you pay them for their property. You want to make sure. Again, we're learning about now. Why are we talking about nezikin? Because again, the same idea. We said yesterday, you have to show respect to your food, right? You have to show respect to your food. You know why you have to show respect to your food? Your food has a nefesh in there. So there's a soul in there. So how can I disrespect my food? How can I throw out my food if there's a nefesh in there? That's why Bal Tashkas is a terrible avera, right? Because you're throwing out something that's good. There's a nefesh in there, right? That's part of nezikin. So a person can't say he's a chassid if he's causing damages to souls, right? We understand he's learning it from like a physical damage, but it's the same idea. You could take it one step further and you can say, wait a second, if you're causing a damage to a soul by eating something, drinking something, partaking in something without making a bracha, you're causing a damage. You're causing a hezek to that. You're being mazik that neshama that could have had a tikkun, but now that nefesh is crying, hey, I lost my opportunity. Amen. See that? Baruch Hashem. L'chaim. Okay. V'im hizikoi yishalem ezekoi. If your person chas v'shalom causes the damage to somebody, to pay for it. Right? That's all. That's what the din in the zikim are. Right? You cause the damage, pay for it. It's not a problem. Just pay for it. By days nitcha hadin shu b'chinas hezek. You push away the judgment. You push away the din, which is the damage, right? By paying for it, they say money is the cure-all, right? Right? Yes, that's why you like it. Right? It's good, right? Pay the money, it goes away, right? The guy caused a financial loss he damaged the guy's property, or whatever the case was, or he damaged the person himself, right? We have the idea, you have to pay for his medical bills, rippy, shefas, and budgets, right? We have to pay for all these things, right? You have to do it, okay. וזהו ואמרי נלי מילי דנזיקין היינו לסלק ולתחויס ההזק והדין והחוישק ולהלס הנפש והשכל, to lift up the nefesh and the seichel via making the repair, via making the payment for the damage. Ayidei Brachos sheim bechinas avir detzol ayideihem nizkalu avos. You could be misgalad avos. So it's all one thing. Nothing's usually connecting the idea of physical damage to the idea of damaging something of a soul within your food. So a person can't say he's a chassid, he's a pious person, if he's not careful with his bracha. That's why the Gemara says, if you want to be a chassid, the Gemara Barabas says, you want to be a chassid, make your brachas. And if you're making your brachas correctly, you're not causing any damage. So it's really one of the same thing. So the Gemara says, don't make any damages, make brachas. Pirkei Avos says, you want to be a chassid, then don't make any damages. They really wanted the same thing. Do we get it? You understand that? Does it make sense from Simcha? You understand that? You understand the concept? Okay, we'll review it one more time. It's a beautiful concept. The Gemara in Baba Basra says that if you want to be a chassid, you want to be a pious person, know your brachas. When you have something to eat, you can eat. You know what bracha to make, the order of the bracha, that the seder brachas that you make. You know what to do, and so on. Right? Then the Pirkei Avos says if you want to be a chassid, you have to be careful not to cause any damages. And if you cause damages, pay for your damages. So really, they're saying the same thing. If you know your bracha, and then you pick up the food and you eat the food, you're not causing a damage to the soul in the food. You're elevating the soul in the food. That's why if you know your brachas, is really the same thing as not causing a damage. Do we understand this connection? It's a beautiful connection. To me, this is wonderful how Rav Nosson takes these two things and he molds, and they fit perfectly. Okay, all right, okay. Ki silik hahezek mechaveiroi sheheim dinei nezikin, because when you take care of the problem from your friend, that's nezikin. Who gam kain the bechinas esalas nefesh, you're also lifting up the nefesh. Now we're going to learn a new concept now. That really the money that we have is connected to our nefesh also. Okay, we're going to learn a new concept. Because why do people like their money that they have? Their money is connected to their soul. It comes from a very high place. Right? So in other words, when I damage something, I need to take from my soul to pay over the damage that I caused to the other soul. We're going to get to that. Wow, look at that. Mammon is the shoirish of the nefesh. Did you know that, Yossi?
It makes sense.
The money is the source, the shoirish of the nefesh. Rabbi Nachman talks about in lesson 59. Through tzedakah, a person can be elevating the soul. Okay, back in lesson 37 in Likutey Maran, Rabbi Nachman says over there that if a person makes a fast, the main point of the fast is to give tzedakah. Right? The main point of the fast is to give tzedakah. Why is he give tzedakah? Because if you give tzedakah, you're supposed to give the money that you would have used to eat that day. Whatever your provisions cost you for the day, whatever you would have eaten, give that money for tzedakah. Take from your nefesh, your source of your money, give it over to somebody else, make a tikkun. That's how you make tikkunim. Okay, by giving, okay. Ki ha'ani choshev kemes. Because we know the idea, ani choshev kemes. Right? You know where we learned that from? We learned that from Eliphaz, when Eliphaz came to Yaakov Avinu.
Right, he said, kill him.
Right, he said, kill me. So Yaakov Avinu says, no, take all my money. Take all my money. And then I'll be like, I'm dead. Yeah. And then he said, okay, that's a good idea. He liked the money. He took the money. He went back to Esav. Okay. All right, so then that's where we learned this idea. Ani is choshev kemes. Because if the guy doesn't have money to sustain his nefesh, we're going to learn. It's amazing. We're learning in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch today the ideas of how the body works and how you take food in, and the body works on warmth, heat. There's heat in the body, and every time we eat, we create a fuel for the heat in the body to keep going, right? And then the whole process of how it mixes with the saliva, and then it goes into the stomach, and it mixes with the gallbladder, and it mixes with the stomach acids, and everything gets broken down. It's ma'ukal, it gets broken down. It's unbelievable. So in other words, the whole idea, when the ani doesn't have money, he doesn't have that. The mammon the kedusha. See, this is a very important word. Mammon the kedusha is the shirish of the nefesh. What's mammon the kedusha? What's the difference? If a person goes to business and he's not honest in business, and he has his money. That's not money. That's mammon de sitracha. That's not holy money. But if the person follows all his rules and he does everything in an honest way and he recognizes all the money that he has came to him via Kodesh Baruch Hu, so then of course that money is the mammon of kedusha. And then of course it gives you, of course, but no. But you want to give the money for tzedakah from mammon de kedusha. There we go. Okay. Nimtza kishenoise memayne tzedakah lo'ani. When you give money at tzedakah to the ani, mekayim nafshay, so you're helping to be mekayim his nefesh. Like we said, he needs the food in order to keep his body going. You're giving him something. You're giving him from your nefesh. You're giving over to something to the ani to help the ani live. Okay, Kamei Shomer v'sein zochan l'brachos kol mekayim nefesh achas mi Yisrael. If you're mekayim one nefesh in Yisrael, it's like you saved clients. It saved everything. Why? Because you're giving the guy, you're giving him the ability to continue. Ki amaman hu nefesh, like we said, the mammon is the nefesh. V'al kein ayidei amaman ki shenaisin lani ayidei zen is ala nefesh v'aseichel v'chinas ashrei maskil el do. How you like that? Huh? Ashrei maskil el do. You give, if you give, how fortunate is the person? He becomes wise because he's giving to impoverished people. He becomes wise because again, when you do something, you do an act of chesed, and HaKadosh Baruch says, you use the money that you earned honestly, and you gave it for this. So of course, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is happy that we took care of it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't have to have aniyim in the world. Think about it. There doesn't have to be any poor people in the world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has enough money to give everybody everything that they need. It's no problem, right? But why does Hashem not give some people? Some people get more money, some people get less money. What is this? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is trying to help the situation that everybody can help each other. You understand? And they say that when you give money to an ani, you get so many brachas, 6 brachas. If you do it with a smile, you get 11 brachas. Right? So it's a wonderful thing when you give your money. It's okay. We got it. We understand that. Okay. Ki ein ani ella min hadas, because there's no ani. There's no impoverished person. It's only ani is bedas. What does that mean? You ever hear that before? Ein ani ela bedas. If the person doesn't have the knowledge, he doesn't understand. Right? Sometimes people are poor, they're very upset. They look at the other guy. Look, this guy has so much. This guy's this, and he has so much, and I have nothing. And they get angry at Hashem. They get angry at Hashem sometimes that Hashem didn't give them enough money. So that's an ani min das. We said das is knowing Hashem, right? Knowing Hashem that's what das is. So, but there's nothing wrong in ani if he understands that this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from him, that he doesn't have and he has to ask from somebody else. Then that ani is not an ani b'dah. He's not poor. He may have no money, but he has das. He understands Hashem has a plan. I don't understand why I don't have the money and he has the money. I don't understand that. But I understand, Hashem, you have a plan. That's not an ani b'das. So he's saying you're only poor if you have no das. If you have das, you're not poor. It's all in the mind. There are people that have millions of dollars, and in their own minds, they're very poor. Right? The guy has $100 million. He lost $25 million. He still has $75 million. But in his mind, he's a pauper. Is that amazing? Yes, is that true?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Rich people, they'll tell you. They asked them, Rabbi Kramer told me, he goes to people, he collects money for his organization, BRI, right? Or he goes to guys, business is tough today. I mean, the guy's got, Ani bedas. You understand what we're saying? That's what Chazal is saying. It's only an ani bedas. It's in your perspective, in your mind. Ki hakol echad ki ein ki me'acher ki she'ein loy mammon shu bechinas nefesh bechinas seichel. Because if he doesn't have money, which is connected to his nefesh, which means he doesn't have the seichel. You understand? If the guy is a poor person, he doesn't have money. We said the money is connected to the soul. And if he doesn't have the money that's connected to the soul, he doesn't also have the seichel that's also connected to the soul. Never true bechinas seichel. Al kein hu ani min hadas gam kein bechinas chachmas miskein bezuya. Right? If the person is very, very poor, he's bezuya. He's how do you say bezuya? He's what? Embarrassed. He's embarrassed. There we go. The guy's embarrassed. The guy's embarrassed because he doesn't have his money. Oh, so wait a second. So now when you give him money, you're lifting up, you're giving him from your source of your soul to give to the source of his soul to lift up his das. That's why a tzedakah is so important. Because the guy is connected. He doesn't have any connection to his das. But when you give him money, that you take from your money, Mammon the Kedusha, you give it to the Ani, now he has that goes to the source of his soul, which means he gets the das of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he can thank Hashem that this guy gave him the money. You understand? He causes you, the Ani will now say thank you to Hashem that now I have money. Not only does it help the guy that you gave the money to, but it helps the giver as well. The same way we said like this. When you're eating food, right? If you're eating a fruit and the fruit is a part of your soul, that's wonderful. You redeem the soul. It's wonderful for you because you redeemed your part of your soul. But we said, what happens when you don't need to have any redemption of your soul? Your soul is complete. But when you eat, you're also doing great things. You're getting a benefit. The same way over here. The ani needs money. You gave the ani from your money. You have money. Hashem gave you money. You gave the money to the ani. Now, you gave the ani to the money. You gave him his nefesh. You gave him seichel. He can now thank Hashem. You get benefits as well. In other words, it doesn't only go to him, but you get a benefit the same way when you redeem the fruit by making the bracha. If you did, it wasn't your soul, you still get extra, kedusha added to you. Here you get the same benefit by giving the tzedakah. It's one and the same. Okay, we got it? You understand? Nefesh. We're talking about the nefesh. So here we started off, let's go back. We started off, the Gemara says in Bava Basra, if you want to be a chassid, make brachas. Know your brachas. And Pirkei Avos says, well, if you want to be a chassid, make sure you don't cause any damage. So Rav Nosson said they're really both the same, right? Why? Because if you're making the bracha correctly, so when you ate whatever you ate, you lifted up the soul, you didn't cause a damage to the soul, right? And that's why it's the same idea. The Pirkei Avos says if you want to be a chassid, so make sure you don't cause any damage. Of course, you don't want to cause any physical damage. If you cause physical damage, again, you have to remove the judgment from there. How do you remove the judgment? By paying the damage, by paying the money. Why to pay the money? Because the money comes from the source of your soul. Now, Rabbi Nachman goes on to say in lesson 37 this idea of giving tzedakah. Right? When you fast, give tzedakah. Why? Because again, when you give tzedakah, you're also gaining a tremendous benefit. Because you're giving somebody something that they need, that they're lacking. They in return give thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for giving, that they received what they needed. Via them giving thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is because you gave him the money. Now you also get a benefit from that as well. Because you caused him to say thank you, therefore you got a benefit as well. Do you understand so far? Okay, we got this? You have any questions? We got it? It's a little complicated. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to do the best I could over here to help us understand these connections. Do we understand the connection of money and the nefesh? Do we understand the connection of fruit to a soul? What? Yeah. We do. Okay. If you have a question, please, we can discuss it. Okay. Like it says, if you take mercy, compassion on HaKadosh Baruch Hu's creations, of course they'll have compassion on you for taking compassion. It's a midah keneged midah, right? Okay. V'nimshach olav rachmanis v'chesed shehu bechinas is alus hanefesh. You get an elevation of your soul as well. Isn't that nice? So you get an elevation of our souls. Our souls get higher. Our souls get holier, connected more to our Kadosh Baruch Hu. Okay. Ayadei tzedakah. Who is alus hanefesh? What?
Through some, that's how you get high. You don't need drugs. You get high from this.
Spiritual height.
Spiritual high, yeah.
V'alkein ayadei tzedakah, who is alus hanefesh. Look at that. So now we understand. Tzedakah, you're actually lifting up a nefesh. His nefesh and your nefesh. The act of giving tzedakah is alus hanefesh, is elevating souls. The soul to the person you're giving the money to, and your own soul. You understand? When you give tzedakah, we understand that now, right?
It's like giving tzedakah and then thanking the poor person.
We should thank them.
They always say thank you to you.
And I always say thank you to them. I say thank you when I do anything. I say thank you for coming to my door. I appreciate it. I thank you for coming to the house. And they offer them a drink as well. And would you like to use the restroom? These guys sometimes, a lot of times these guys are very happy. Sometimes these guys are out there many hours and they don't have a restroom. So if a guy comes to you, they'll say, you need to use the shirutim. I mean, sometimes they need it, right? Okay, anyway. Okay. Ki amamanu shayrish hanefesh, as we established, v'zeh ba'atzmai bechinas dinei nezikin, shezira atayra sheloi yigzol, v'loi yazik echad es chaverim, kidei sheloi lifkoim es hanefesh, shu bechinas mammon. Right? That's why the Torah tells us, don't steal from somebody. Because again, if you steal his money, you're stealing from the shorish of his nefesh. Now we understand why stealing is such a problem. You're taking from the guy's soul. No good. And also damage. If you cause a damage to the person, the guy now he has to use his money to fix the damage. So then it's the same thing as stealing from the person if you don't pay for it. Kidei lahashlim es hanefesh v'ayidei tashlumei hezek, through us paying for the damage. Tashlumei hezek, you pay for the damage. Nimsa shedinei nezikin hein bechinas es alus hanefesh. So the whole idea is all about is alus hanefesh, and that's why we have the connection of Pirkei Avos that says if you want to be the chassid, make sure that you don't cause any damages to anyone, and if you do, pay for them. And that's why the Gemara in Baba Basra says if you want to be a chassid, know your brachas, because they're really one of the same. Because the whole theme, what is the theme? Lifting up souls, elevating souls. So you can elevate souls with making brachas via the souls that's in the food themselves. And we said that the money is the source of is the shorish of person's neshama. So if the person doesn't have the money, you give him the money, you're helping that neshama, you elevate his neshama, because now he has something, he thanks Hashem, then your neshama gets elevated as well. Okay? B'bechinat tzedakah sheikra esalas hanefesh hu al yoda. V'al kein, ayedei zeh nikra chasida bechinas goymel nafshay ish chassid. How do you like that? Goymel nafshay ish chassid. Ki nitcha hadin v'aksilus shehu bechinas hezek nimshach mipagam hadas. Because you push off. Again, Rabbi Nachman in lesson 37 makes the connections of nefesh, of what he called guf and neshama. Right? We said that we have or and choshech, the different connections, the different comparisons. Right? The different comparisons, contrast that we have. Okay. So we said over here, ki nidcha hadin v'aksilus. If you want to push off din and foolishness, you want to push that off. Hu bechinas a hezek, that's an aspect of hezek. When if the person has din or kasilas, nimshach mibigam das comes from again because of a blemish in the person's das, because the das is also connected to the nefesh. money is the source of the nefesh, but the das is in the nefesh also. So if the person doesn't have money, if the person doesn't, he's a lack of his soul, he also doesn't have the seichel, he doesn't have the right das. As Rabbi Nachman writes in lesson 8 in the second book, so when you pay, if Chas v'Shalom someone causes someone a damage, it's not a problem. Just pay for it. No problem. It happens. Accidents happen. Right? A person has an accident, it happens, Chas v'Shalom, right? So you pay for it. No problem. Because you don't want to take from the person's soul. If you don't pay for it, you're taking from the person's soul. Through paying for the damages, the shorish is the moment of kedusha. And again, if you cause someone damage, pay for the damage. If you do that, you don't cause him a damage to his soul. And when you pay that, you take your money to pay for it. You cause him a repair. You make a repair for yourself because there's no din because of you. Okay, there we go.
The money isn't soul, it's nefesh, or it's the source of the soul. It's definitely a big thing, but it's the closest thing you can get to a soul, I guess.
There we go, yes.
And if you take someone else's soul,
his money,
you got his money, or you damage.
Yeah, that's why all the laws of business is so important. Shulchan Aruch has so many laws because that's so important to understand. If my scale isn't right and I'm cheating you, so I'm literally stealing your food. I'm stealing your money. I'm stealing your food.
Or I'm literally stealing your soul.
Yeah,
and I'm stealing my own soul.
Exactly. You're causing a damage to your own soul by causing the nezek to him.
So we get it. It happens. And the way to fix that and to make it even is by
making the right brachas.
Is by making the right brachot, which help
fix souls. Elevate souls. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Elevate souls when you make the bracha correctly. Isn't that a nice thing?
I'd rather do that than give money.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that would rather just pay money and not have to make the brachas, right? There are people like that, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. V'zeh merumes gam kein b'maimra niskar ki ma shemuva sham b'maimra b'senzchon l'vrocha l'posik oichlei ami ochlu lechem. Oichlei ami ochlu lechem. Rav Omar elu hadayonim. Right, Rav says that those are the dayanim. Hainu revidin. We were talking about what were the revidin? Those are the veins, right? So when the shaykhit checks a chicken, right, or a bird, so he's supposed to open up the veshet, the vein. Why? Because if you do that, the blood will drain out quicker from the bird. Then you have the mitzvah of kisu yadam, right? When you slaughter the bird, there's a mitzvah of kisu yadam. So he said that. When Rav says that it's dayanim, and the dayanim, which is talking about, which is the same gematria as gevura, which is the same oisios as ravidin of veins. Okay, whatever. That's the drasha. Shehu she'ena malin es hanefesh, because again, when they don't. We said that the dam is in the nefesh, right? The dam is the nefesh. So when you slaughter the bird, you have to make sure you do it the right way. We said that the sheikhtim that are not thinking about what they're doing when they make their brachas, that they're trying to make an aliyas hanefesh from this bird, from this animal, they're shechting, they're causing a damage. Because they're not lifting up the soul. That's the problem. You understand? The shaykhim are very, very, and we said that one of the reasons why there's poverty in the world is because the shaykhim are not paying attention to what they're doing. They're slaughtering the animals, but they're not thinking. They don't have the right kavanah. They're trying to be me'alad and nefesh. Now these souls are angry, cause people to lose their parnasa. You believe that? Yossi, could you believe that? You buy meat that doesn't have the right hechsher, right? That's the first line of defense we could do, right? You want to buy the meat, make sure that the meat has the right hechsher on it. Again, it could be wrong too. Doesn't mean there's no guarantees. You always have to daven to Hashem, but at least you have to understand that you take the meat from with the right hechsher, so at least there's a better chance that the meat that you're going to be eating was slaughtered in the right way with the aliyas hanefesh, rather than the other way around. Okay? Nefesh, right?
Dam is also blood, and damim is money.
Mm-hmm. Same idea, yes, that's right. That's the source. That's where it comes from. Remez l'shoichtim ayin sham. Okay, I explained it to you about P. Gam kain b'bechinas dayanim kipshuta. It's the same thing with dayanim. Because if you have a dayan that doesn't, it's really one of the same, because a dayan that doesn't judge properly, that he's not careful, or he shows favoritism to one of the two parties. So then again, he's causing this problem with this nezek of the moment. Right? If you have a judge, a case, there's two litigants in front of the judge, right? And the judge is not judging the case correctly, so he's causing a damage, the same idea as the shaykhid that's causing a damage with his shchita, right? Which is the same as the guy that doesn't make the bracha, which is the same as the guy that it's like a chad gadi here, right? Which is the same as the guy that causes a damage, right, to somebody. All the same idea, because the whole idea is, again, the dam is the nefesh, which and the money is the source of the soul. And if you have the money as the source of the soul, so again, you have to always make sure you're not causing anybody any financial problems. We don't want to cause any problems for the souls. Via making sure the souls are well, the souls then have they feel a hakaras hatov to the person that lifted them up, and they help elevate that person as well. You understand? So it works out really, really well. Ki hadayanim shehem hagunim v'dayanim mishpat tzedek bein ish l'reyehu shelo yigzal v'lo yizak echad es maman chaveroi ayedei zeh malin u'mishalmin es hanefesh. Of course, when the dayanim are doing the right thing, of course they're elevating souls, because they're taking care of they're relying on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They're following the letter of the law of the Torah on how they judge it. They don't have any other ulterior motives when they judge. By doing that, of course, they're lifting up the souls. Because money is the soul. Now let's just finish this. Therefore, when you judge money cases, you need to have 3 judges. Right? That's the law. You have to have 3 judges. You can't have 1 judge. You need 3 judges. The minimum of a din Torah is 3 judges. Because you can't have a rabbi, you can't have a judge without at least 3. If you judge properly, then they push off the judgment, right? In other words, when they do it correctly, they push off the judgment, because there's judgment here, there's din. They mitigate the judgment by making the judgment correctly. Because they're lifting up the soul, which the source of their soul is the money. Via doing things in an honest way, we're giving credit to the Avos HaKadoshim, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, the 3. They cause a shmira in the world, because of the Avos HaKadoshim, we have Eretz Yisrael, right? The schus of Eretz Yisrael is because of the Avos, right? We have Eretz Yisrael because of our Avot, right? Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. The Dayanim are 3. When the Dayanim judge correctly, the 3, which are connected to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, right? Which are connected to all 3s, right? The 3 matzahs on Pesach, and the 3, all the different things. Ki hadayonim ikar dinehem hu rak al yedei avira d'Eretz Yisrael shu mechakim shemisham mekablim ikar chachmas elakim bekirbam v'lasais mishpat. Again, when they're talking over Torah, and they're saying brachas and they're doing what they're supposed to do, they're connecting to the Aviyah of Eretz Yisrael. And the Aviyah of Eretz Yisrael is mechakim, no matter where they are. They could be in any country of the world. It doesn't make a difference. In any city of the world. If they're they're connecting to Hashem's Torah, they're connecting to the Aviyah of Eretz Yisrael, and that's what makes them wise to be able to judge correctly. But also Laden Kiim is also Laden Kiim Semuchim, Ve'ein Semuchim Ela Beretz Yisrael, Vayin L'Shlichusa Kaimen Avi, Kamavu V'chosh Mishpat, Nimsa Sheika Mishpat Sheladayonim, Mekablim Rak Me'eretz Yisrael. The Mishpat comes from Eretz Yisrael, when they're doing it the right way. Shemisham Ika Smicha, that's the connection. Ki Dayanim Malin Gam Kemes Hanefesh, because Dayanim are also elevating souls. You see this? Everything in the world is all about elevating souls. It's amazing. Mamish, it's amazing. Our food, our bread, our fruits, our drinks that we drink. And any time Chas v'Shalom, when someone causes any damage to somebody, it's connected to his soul. The money is the soul. The Dayanim, when they judge, they are always connecting back to Eretz Yisrael. Why? Because that's where they can get the wisdom from. And again, because they're trying to elevate the souls between the two litigants. V'doichin hadin, and they can push off the judgment. And mamshichin chesed, they draw chesed into the world. Kishiyesh din lemata ein din lemala. When there's judgment down here, there's no judgment on high. But if there's no judgment down here, there certainly is judgment on high. Okay, right? We understand that? We learned a lot about that, right? Right? When we judge down here, then they say, okay, it was already taken care of, so there's no double jeopardy, they call that? Yeah. Benitcha hadin, benimcha chesed, you push off the din, and you draw chesed. Don't we all want chesed in our lives? That's what we want. We want chesed in our lives. We're learning how to have chesed in your life. Don't we want to have chesed? We don't want to be connected to din. We want to be connected to Hashem's chesed. V'chol zeh nase rak ha'yedei aviv d'Eretz Yisrael v'al kein ikar hadayonim medina hu rak smuchim b'Eretz Yisrael. Those that are connected and bound to Eretz Yisrael. How do you connect yourself to Eretz Yisrael? Also by always connecting and learning Torah by it, because you said that the place that you are, wherever you are, in Chutz La'aretz, that is connected to Eretz Yisrael. We learned that when it came to Dinei Beis HaKnesses, right? We learned the idea. They're connected to Eretz Yisrael. They're connected to Avira Eretz Yisrael because they're using the words of Torah. They're speaking out the case. Those words of Torah, the words that they're speaking out is Avira Eretz Yisrael, and that's how they're able to judge correctly if they want to judge correctly. That's why dayanim are so important. The sheikhim are so important, right? The ones that slaughter are very important. That they elevate the souls. The dayanim are very important. That they judge correctly, so they don't take money from one person, give it to the wrong person. That's a problem because he's stealing from the souls again. You're causing a problem. And then when we make our brachas that pertain to us on a regular basis, to know we make our bracha with the most kavanah that we can, to know that there's a soul in there, by making the bracha, I can elevate the soul that's inside there. Okay, we got that? I'm sorry, this was a little bit more complicated than normal.
No.
But Sasha was okay?
Yeah,
we understand all the connections? Yeah. There was a lot of different connections today.
I have a thought then.
What's your thought?
I bring a pizza in the morning.
Yes.
If I let, people, I don't want to force anybody to pick it up his own or whatever. But I'm saying some could take a little piece, less than a kazayat, and let them take the piece. They could be elevating the soul when they do that. And we could pass it around.
Okay, or you can go home and eat your pas shachris and do that too. That's fine.
No, but
that's what I do when I go home. I eat my pas shachris.
I know, but what if we did that here and then while we're learning?
Okay. We'll talk about that. We have a long. Let's go. We're in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch today. We're learning the laws of Shmiras Haguf al pi hateva. Okay, we're learning the laws of how to protect your life al pi teva naturally. Here we go. This is a beauty. This is really such an important one, and it's a science project. This one. Here we go. You ready? Okay. Habayre Baruch Hu. Ubaruch Shemai. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bara esa Adam. We know HaKadosh Baruch Hu creates man. V'chein ba'alei chayim, he also creates all living things. Okay? V'nosan by chayim tivi. And we have this natural heat inside our bodies. Right? We know a body is like normally you have your normal temperature, and you don't want to have too much heat, you don't want to have too little heat, you want to have, there's a certain temperature in the body. I think that's what he means, right, Shalom? Chayim tivi, right? The temperature. Okay. That's the chiyas of the person. That's the person's life. If he doesn't have any more fire inside, if he doesn't have any more temperature inside of him, he loses his life. He's done. Right? A dead person doesn't have any temperature. Right? How do you like that? Is this amazing, Rav Shalom? We're learning about the fruit. And yeah, you get your heat from your body, from the food that you eat. Is that amazing? Come on. Kamaya Eish, like the fire. Haboya, she'im lo yasifu olav tamid eitzim, yichbil legamri. If you have a fire going, and you want to keep the fire going, you have to keep feeding the fire. Therefore, we have to constantly eat. Like we're learning. You eat. Why do you have to eat? HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us our food so we can lift up the souls that are in the food. But we need to keep our body also alive. That's why we have to eat. Kain Adam im lo yaichel. So too is a person, he doesn't. Now we understand if a person doesn't eat, he's not keeping the fire going, and then his fire goes out, and then the person will expire. Yichbe ha'esh asher b'toichai v'yamas, and then he will die. Now what happens? He explains the process. Hamachal nitchon bein hashinayim. The food is ground up between the teeth, right? We have to chew our food, right? V'hamisarev imitz haroik v'yutach, and it gets mixed together with the saliva and in the mouth, and then it gets like in a liquidy form because we're chewing it very, very well. Umisham yored le'itz toimcha v'nitchan gam sham. It goes into the belly and it gets ground even more there. Umisarav im hamitzim mitzah it's tamcha umitzah mora. And we know that there is acid in the stomach and there's acid in the gallbladder. The gallbladder gives the secretion, and so to the stomach, and that's what causes the food to get cooked and what do you call, processed even more. V'yutach v'yivashel me'achoim mitzim misakel haboru sheboy. Okay, and it gets digested. I guess that's the digestive system, the way to digest is. Isn't that great? Shulchan Aruch tells you how your digestive system works. Isn't that great? Okay. Mimenu, what?
It's also where Maimonides, either this came from Maimonides, where it says, drink your food, chew it, liquid.
Mimenu noiznin kol eivorim mekayim chiyas adam. And that's where all the food gets distributed to the body, to all the organs. And that's how the body stays healthy and well. Now look what he says here. And whatever is excess, whatever the body doesn't need, you go to the rest. The person goes to the rest. Excuse me, right? Okay. Like we learned, right? And HaKadosh Baruch Hu does it in the most wondrous way, that he causes the food to be able to be digested in the body, and it can be processed in the body. Whatever is needed gets used and distributed to the organs. Whatever is not needed, it goes out. He does it in the most wondrous way. Okay, shenasan HaKadosh Baruch Hu es hateva ba'adam levoirer es hatava ma'achal. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives the person the wherewithal in order to clarify what's good inside the food. And each organ takes what it needs to sustain itself. And if chas v'sholem, the psoilis, the excrement, would stay in the body. We know how that's poison. The excrement is poison. Yes, apesh v'yavay lidei chaloyim rachmana litzlan. Right, the poison will go outside into the body and it'll cause him a big problem. And therefore, most of our health and our sickness, our chalishot, teluya be'ikol hamachal, is based on the digestion of our food. Our health is dependent on how we digest our food. Is that amazing? Come on. Isn't this beautiful? This is Kitshulchana. It's amazing. The laws of digestion here. This is amazing. If it gets digested simply and nicely and the process goes well, it's a successful process, then the person will be nice and healthy. But if there's a problem in the digestive system, as we know, the person will be very sick, the person will become very weak, the person can come to sakana. So what do we see from here? How important the bracha is of Asher Yotzar, right? How important that bracha is. That we thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He helps us in the body to digest the food in a way that what we need gets distributed, gets used, and whatever's not used, that whatever's not needed, it goes out. And that's what we say, nikavim, chalulim, goli v'yadua lifnechi, say she'im yipaseach echod mehem. If one of those things that have to be, that are supposed to be closed, get open, chas v'sholem, if there's anything in the digestive system, in the body that's inside, if it opens up, it can cause the person to die, right? Right, and whatever's supposed to be open, it's supposed to be open. He shouldn't stop them up, right? The things that have to go out, let it go out. But how does Hashem do that? Umafli lasais. He does it in the most wondrous way. Okay, so now we're learning about the wonders of Hashem. We learned how there's a soul in money. We learned that there's a soul in the food. We learned that there's a soul in, and you can have an elevation of your soul by giving money to the ani, by you paying the damages that you did, by you making a bracha, by the dayan judging the case correctly. The three judges, because they're connecting to Eretz Yisrael, via the shoichet shechting the animal, via the right way, and he's giving respect to the nefesh in the animal. All of these things are all connected. It's really unbelievable. I want to I thank Hashem that He gives us all these beautiful things to understand and think about during the day. Okay, so everyone should have a wonderful day, and we should all hear Besora Tovo. Thank you very much.